Motorcycling, if you're this is about one of the I say the after things to expect after. If you're a motorcyclist and you're a motorcyclist that likes to go on camping trips and whatever with your bike, things may be a little different for you now, and I'll sort of qualify that for you. I still go camping now with this this new group of friends, the club that I'm a member of. I still go camping with them because I've managed to establish a system. So I had a lone rider, like the three-man, the motorcycle tent thing, which was a good bit of kit, and obviously I had a proper sort of camping mattress, inflatable camping mattress, the sleeping bag, and all of the stuff that you would sort of pack to try and make your camping trip a little bit more comfortable. You know, bearing in mind you're on a bike, you can take a little bit more weight than you would do if you was hiking and the like. But yeah, the lone rider was a good bit of kit, you know, and there's a lot of people out there that actually use it, and I think it was a great bit of kit. But what we're looking at now is this sort of situation where you're going to need a wedge to sleep. So, you know, it's this situation where we need to be keeping our head a little higher than our feet, so to speak, in order to prevent what's in our stomach sort of creeping down to our throat, because we haven't got that sphincter in the top of our stomach anymore. So we find ourselves either having to prop ourselves up. If you sleep on your back, it may not be such a deal, especially if you sleep on your back and you use like a hammock and a tarp type setup. You'll probably be fine. Sleeping on your back, you may need to prop yourself up with a couple more pillars in your tent, but I think ultimately it won't be so much of a deal for you. I sleep on my side, sort of side towards my front, almost like the prone position. You know, when the ambulance crew come along and stick you in the prone position, I kind of sleep like that, which is problematic when using trying to prop yourself up, you know. So when I first went camping after I was sort of well, so to speak, the problem I found was, obviously the ground sheet of the tent is reasonably shiny. The mattress itself is reasonably shiny, as is the sleeping bag, as is the inflatable wedge. What was happening was, when I was laying down to go to sleep, the sort of say gravitational pressure, downward pressure, was forcing the wedge out from underneath the mattress. So, and there wasn't any way I could keep it in there. I tried different variations of straps and stuff, but it was impossible to sleep on a camping mattress in a tent without the wedge sliding out from underneath the mattress. And of course, that kind of fucked it for me. I was supposed to be away for 3 nights. I spent 1 night in the tent, and then I went and checked into a B&B, purely because I could use the wedge under the mattress a lot more comfortable. Bearing in mind, beds are usually against the wall, and mattresses being a damn sight heavier than the camping mattresses, the wedges tend to stay in place, plus you've got the wall behind you. So it was really, I sold all that kit because it was no good to me, but I still wanted to have the I don't go away specifically to camp on like an entire trip, but I don't mind having the camp kit with me, because it opens up a few more options for you. You don't have to stay in a hotel. If you find somewhere you want to stay, you can just sort of rock up and pitch a tent. You know, it makes life a little bit easier and opens up your options. So you may have seen these things on the internet. You may have seen some influencers talking about them, but there's a tent system called Wingman of the Road, and there's two. There's the toucan, which is meant to be for two people, and the goose, which is like a single man thing. To be fair, the toucan isn't much bigger than the goose, so if you're looking at two people sleeping in there, it's going to be it's going to be fucking tight. But if you as a single tent dweller, want to give yourself a little bit more space, it's probably a better option. But that said, what the tent system is basically it's a canvas tent, and that tent rolls up, and when it rolls up, it's got inside it the mattress and the sleeping bag, so it's a full home, if you like. But the thing about it is because it's literally a single man tent, and the way that it is constructed, you can actually put your wedge underneath the mattress, and it's surrounded on all three sides. So the wedge has got nowhere to go. So literally, when you're sleeping, the wedge cannot slide out from underneath you. Happy days. We're back into the world of camping. And what I do is when I roll the tent up, I actually roll my pillars up in there. I've got two sort of camping style memory foam pillars, and when I put the tent away and roll it all up, I leave the pillars inside there as well, and obviously being memory foam, they can crush down quite easily. And the whole system, have a look at it, the Wingman of the Road, the whole system is really, really well designed. You know, there's a ground sheet, which is essentially the outside cover for it when it's rolled. The ground sheet has got a long pocket at one end where you put all the poles for the tent in there and the pegs. And I've got the old bill up my arse, look, you see them. When you roll it up, so the tent goes on top of the ground sheet, and then basically it's sort of a third of the width of the ground sheet. So when you put it on top of the ground sheet, you fold the two bits of the ground sheet up, and you will then just move over for him. Just sitting up my arse for some reason. You basically fold the flaps over, tie them up, and then you roll it from the end where all the tent poles are. And then when you roll it from the end where the tent poles are, it sort of compresses down, and it rolls up into quite a tiny little roll, and basically you just strap that to your bike. Happy days, away you go. But I used it a couple of times. It's got an awning on it, and when you look at the adverts or the reports on it on the internet, there's an awning on it, and what it suggests is you tie the awning to your bike. You know, so it's got there, but they've actually come up with a couple of poles for the awning as well. However, what I would say about this system is the awning's not very big, and even with the poles they provide, it's not very high. So although it kind of comes across as you've got a little bit of space, if it was raining, you know, to sit out, you can't. You'd be sitting on the floor, and your head would be touching the awning. It's not particularly high. So after using it a couple of times, I've now adopted this system. I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'll give it a try. Lidl's were selling in their centre aisle like a fly sheet. Basically it came with two poles for each end, or they're 8 poles, but they go together in sets of 4 to make it's probably about 2 meters high. So you've got two 2 meter poles, and then you've got 6 guy ropes, and you basically set up this. It's like a apex roof basically. So what I did was I bought one of them. I thought, well, give that a try. I got a ground sheet, a separate ground sheet as well to go underneath it, just to give me somewhere to dry to sit. So now when I set the wingman and the road up, the awning goes on its poles in one direction, and I get in and out of the tent the other side of the tent, if you like, rather than through where the awning is. And what I do is I put the fly sheet on that side, so that the fly sheet is over the tent and then goes away from the tent, and that basically gives you a living space of about, I don't know, 10 foot by 10 foot, but it's high enough for you to stand up if you needed to get dressed, you know, putting trousers on and stuff. It's putting trousers on in a small confined area is difficult, but you can stand up and do it. You've got a seating area, so you put your chair under there and you can sit quite comfortably, and it gives you shelter from the sun as well as the rain, and it actually works really well. It works really well. So, you know, if you do go for the wingman and the road system, have a look at giving yourself a bit more room. The fly sheet itself goes into, I stuff it down the sides of me panniers. It fits into there quite well. It's rolled up with the guide ropes all attached and inside it, so it's quite, it actually rolls up to probably the size of a bag of sugar, which is quite good. And the poles themselves, I basically put them in the pocket with the poles for the tent. So you've got everything you need within the tent, and a small size bag within your luggage, and it's actually quite a good living space. So yeah, if you're keen on motorcycle camping and you're recovering from this kind of shit, you might need to rethink it. If you need wedges to sleep with, you might need to rethink it. Have a look at the wingman and the rope. It actually works exceptionally well. Okay, that's me. Ta-da.